So you're in a bunch of debt. I am too, but how do you actually pay it off? This is a series called Opening the Gate where I teach you financial terms and concepts so we can all stop gatekeeping money. There is only one real way to pay off debt, and that is to create a plan and stick to it. So I'm gonna share exactly how I did that. First, I had to figure out exactly how much debt I had. So I went ahead and I wrote down every single one of my debts, their interest rates, and what their minimum payment was. Then I had to figure out where my debt was from, because I can't solve the issue of paying off debt if I'm just gonna end up in more of it again. Now, I'm not saying that you can't ever spend on anything that isn't fun, but spending on non-essentials to a point where you're going into debt is definitely something that you can address, and I definitely recommend therapy as well as value-based spending. Okay, we've faced our debt. Next, we have to figure out what our income and true monthly expenses are. I recommend going back through your credit card and debit card statements and tracking every single expense for 1 month. See what you're really spending your money on, and then cut back different categories to realistic targets. Again, we are not talking rice and beans unless that's absolutely necessary. But do you really need Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus? Your expenses should also include that minimum payment for your debt. Next, you're gonna take your income, subtract those expenses, and what's left is called the gap. The bigger your gap, the easier it's gonna be to pay off your debt and the more money you can put towards it. So when it comes to actually paying off the debt, you have two strategies. The first is the snowball method, where you pay the smallest balance first. This will give you quick wins and it helps psychologically pay off your debt. If you are an optimization person and want to save the most amount of money, then there's the avalanche method, which means paying off the highest interest balance first. It'll decrease the amount of interest you pay over time. But the important thing here is that paying off your debt equals saving money. So whichever way you tackle, you're still gonna be saving money in the long run. So finally, you're gonna pay the minimums on everything, and then you are gonna take that gap and put it towards whichever debt strategy you've chosen. And that's how you actually pay off your debt.